So you're watching. So you got to watch the Lion King and decided to reenact what was happening. Hilarious. Oh my god.
That just happened about
And
5 minutes
it
ago.
was it's the
And I
same shirt. It's the same blouse like top you have on. Look. Hey y'all, welcome to
What?
Sips and Conversation.
Yeah, we
I'm
should.
Nancy Gua.
Oh yeah, I'm Elana Goodman. Wow, I never say my last name. I'm Elana Goodman.
I'm in tears. Good grief. Yeah, I don't know if I ever say my last. I don't even know if I say my name. Quite honestly, we probably just know each other as Nancy and Ilana and Nancy. Yeah, you're like I'm Ilana Goodman. Like, is that me? Am I she? Is she I? Okay, so I'm gonna be. I got somewhere to go. I was planning on just sitting in the house and doing nothing today, but then I'm like, dang, I got this human being that
Yeah, you do.
I'm like, he needs to probably go outside. Especially he be having a rough time at school. So I just want to do something decent. So we're gonna go watch Medieval Times. So I'm gonna get
Oh my
ready.
god, I'm so jealous. So jealous.
I've never been. He's been.
You've
Um,
never been?
I've
Oh my
never
god, you're
been.
gonna have so much fun. It's like, it definitely just gets you into your inner child moment. So get into the inner child of it all.
Like
You get to
so.
root for your team.
Okay, like on the horses. I don't even know what.
Yeah, so, okay. Do you want me to tell you or do you just want to be surprised?
No, tell me. But okay, I
Okay.
am gonna be getting ready. I'm not
Yeah.
a beauty girl. I'm a 40-year-old mother. So I shall do
Do
my
not
makeup that
do
way.
not judge. We don't
Yeah,
judge
we
here.
don't we don't
Whatever.
judge. Yeah, and like the pro like so I use this. This is my foundation, and it's so
Oh,
expensive.
bougie. Lancome.
So I use the tiniest drop. Like you see, just need to cover up a couple spots, you know. So okay, all right. Please tell me, yeah. What is like? What am I to expect?
Medieval times. First of all, it's so fun. I don't know. I honestly don't know if it's fun because I went as a child, and so I have like the nostalgia for it, or if it's
Yeah,
really as fun as I remember
as an
it being.
adult. Okay.
But basically, when you go, you get assigned like a section that you're sitting in, and wherever you're sitting, it'll have your like knight will be like in the section. So like say you're sat in the like black and yellow section, then that means that you guys root for the black and yellow knight kind of thing.
Okay.
Like you get assigned who you're rooting for. Unless I
Okay.
think if you want to root for someone specifically, then you can ask for that. But like so then essentially they do a mock like tournament game, and there's like a storyline, there's like a princess or something that they're trying to like win the hand of and the whole thing.
Oh,
But
that's
they
the point. Because I'm like, what's the point of
yeah,
this?
yeah. So they do like medieval jousting. There's like sword
Okay.
fighting. There's like so it's kind of like a simulation of what a medieval um like what do they call that? Jousting festival, whatever, would
What's jousting
basically
even
kind of
mean?
be.
What is it? Like
Oh
what?
my god, they ride horses. They
Oh,
ride
okay. That's what
the
jousting means.
horses with the long
Oh,
spears. But they do it for real. Like in the
and the thing,
place.
that's what I see. Yeah, they were okay. So
Yeah.
that's called jousting.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know I don't know. I don't know the point of any of this. I just thought it'd be this is something random to do on a Saturday.
I think you'll actually like it. It's a lot of fun because but you do kind of have to lean into like, it's not for adults. It's like for
It's
kids.
for
So
the
you do
children.
but it's still fun. You just have to lean into like, okay, this is about to be silly, and I'm just gonna be silly, like
Okay.
with it. You know what I
Which,
mean?
I'm good with that. I hope
Yeah.
Tristan is silly with it. That's the only concern because he went when he was younger. My
Yeah.
parents were in town and they took him.
Yeah.
And none of my makeup brushes are clean. Okay, so
use my fingers. I don't even use
Yeah,
makeup
I'm
brush.
like, this is how I do
This
my
is
makeup
not.
in the morning.
If you
Yeah,
wanted beauty tips, this is not the
this
beauty
is not the
guru
place. We're
channel.
just having kiki time, and I'm like, let
Yeah,
me, instead of stressing out to get ready before we hop on, let me clean my shower, let me do all my things, and then I'll just chat.
we're just arriving, and the only reason the only reason why I look somewhat put together is because Sammy and I left the house, and we only just recently returned, like an hour
Oh, oh, y'all
ago.
went outside. What y'all do?
We just went to because I don't know if you can kind of tell, like the sun's coming in. It's like a nice day in London, so we walked. There's this vintage shop. Sammy's been getting into his like trying to sort out what his style is kind of
Okay.
energy.
Yeah,
So
I
we
love
just got
that.
some of those. You know those like cool kind of baggy jeans that's like
Yeah,
that the cool guys are wearing these
yeah.
days.
Tristan wants some so bad, and like I have a pair of like
Yeah,
that, and
yeah.
he was like, I want those pants. Those
Yeah,
pants.
yeah. So Sammy just got a couple pairs, and so this all started because this morning he was trying on all these different shirt combos of what he owns to figure out like what kind of outfits he can wear with his new jeans.
Yeah.
And then I was like, why don't we just go to that vintage store we keep talking about that we want to go to? We just haven't been yet. And he was like, oh
Okay.
yeah. So we just decided to walk there, but it's such a nice day. Um, so yeah, we walked there. We got brunch at this little brunch spot that was really cute. I tried this dish. I'm probably gonna butcher the name. I'm so sorry if anybody is watching that is Turkish, but it's called menemen, I think is how you
Okay.
pronounce it. It's
Okay.
a breakfast dish. I've never had it before. But it basically is it's like, do you know shakshuka? Have you had shakshuka before? No. Don't look at me like that. What? Kind of like I think it's like you fry up like onions in like harissa paste and like tomatoes, and then you like crack fried eggs into it, and so it's got like a
Oh,
sort of spicy oniony tomatoey like sauce that you cook eggs in.
listen. This is fried egg. Fried egg. And he
But okay,
called
but what
fried
I
egg
had,
fancy name shakshuka. Egg. Okay.
I'm sure
Fried
that
egg and
there's
tomato.
more. Sure that there's a more complicated way to cook it. Like I'm sure that it involves like that's why it's called whatever it's called. But it's essentially a fried egg in like a tomatoey sauce kind of like base.
What's the origin? Like what country?
I think shakshuka. I'm not actually sure. It's not. I don't think it's Turkish. It might be.
Because it's probably just the name. It probably means fried egg with
Yeah.
tomato.
I don't even know how to spell that. Sure.
That's
Shak.
our like our eggs. We'll put anything in it. We'll do eggs, and one of my favorite is like onion with like habanero pepper. Sometimes I'll
Yeah.
put tomato in there. Um
Yeah.
and then I'll use sometimes you can put sardine, but if I do sardine, I'm not doing tomato.
Right.
Like,
Right. Right.
but
Right.
we just call it fried egg.
It's I don't even know how to pronounce this. Maghrebe. It's North Africa, basically. So
Okay, yeah. It sounded like some African stuff. I'm like, not fried egg. Fried egg.
it literally says the main ingredients are tomatoes, harissa, eggs, and olive oil. But you put like cumin, paprika, like you put other spices and stuff in it. But
Okay.
anyways, so menemen is Turkish, and it's like kind of a version of this. Um, not the same, but it's different because it's like got peppers, so like red pepper, green pepper, whatever, diced up, and then you don't do like the fried eggs. You kind of like scramble them a bit
Okay.
in the like tomatoey mixture.
Yeah.
Anyways, it was super
It
good.
sounds
I've never
delicious.
had it
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
It was so good. So I got that, and then Sammy got a vegan English breakfast, which is basically like uh baked beans, freaking
Oh,
fried mushrooms, fried tomato, hash brown. Yeah. Like the Heinz baked beans, not like American baked beans. They're like a different. They're not the same.
but it's
They're
beans
not
for
like
breakfast. English people eat beans
yeah.
for
That's a
breakfast.
that's a I mean, a traditional English breakfast has baked beans
Oh,
inside.
wow.
Yeah. But yeah, then we went to the vintage shop. Sammy got a new hat and a jacket, and I saw this bag. Oh my god, Nancy, I wanted this bag. I wanted this bag.
What kind of,
Okay.
was it just a cute bag? Was it like a name?
It was like it was like orange, but my favorite color is orange, but it was like not just any orange. It was
I didn't
like
know
that,
that.
that yeah, that orange that is like kind of sunsetty, like that kind of I don't like just like any bright orange. My favorite color of orange is kind of like that rusty sunsetty kind of like kind of like this color
Okay.
orange.
Yeah, pretty
It,
orange.
it could be a little bit brighter, a little bit darker, but sort of like you said, yeah, pretty orange. You said, yeah, that's an ugly orange. I saw this bag that was literally like the perfect because I don't usually wear big purses.
Yeah.
Like I just wear like a small like shoulder bag, like or not shoulder bag, like fanny
Crossbody or
pack.
something. Fanny pack.
Yeah, like whatever. Because I'm always on the go in London. It's just easier to have just a little thing,
Yeah. With some big
or
old.
I have a backpack. Like
Yeah.
I don't usually have like a nice oversized purse.
Yeah.
And it was so cute. It was genuine leather, so it was like obviously in this vintage shop, so it's been, well loved. So it
Yeah.
kind of had distress to it, but not because it was like on purpose. It was just like well loved.
Yeah.
It was so perfect. I wanted it so bad. So bad. And I didn't buy it. And it was only 25 pounds. And I didn't buy it. But I'll tell you why. I
Okay.
didn't buy it because I
But
just
that's
paid rent. That's first off. I just paid rent. The other reason why I didn't buy it is because yesterday, Sammy's best friend has a daughter. She's like 7. And he was potentially going to be coming over to our house with his daughter to just like hang out.
uh-huh.
But like our house is an adult house. Like we don't have kid stuff here.
Yeah.
So me being the best auntie ever, I was like, I'm going to go to Poundland, which is basically the 99-cent store for the
Oh, I
UK.
was like,
Basically
that does
Dollar
not sound
Tree.
like a good.
I know,
What?
because everything is a pound. They call it Poundland,
Got
like you at the
yeah.
dollar store.
Yeah. It just, initially I'm like,
Poundland is questionable. So I went and I went a little nuts. I went there with the intention of just because she likes to color. She likes to color, so I was
oh
like, well, maybe I'll
gosh.
get her a couple coloring books and like
Yeah.
some stuff so that she has some things to do because we don't have a TV either. So I'm like, this kid is gonna be like, what do I do at this?
Yeah. Yeah.
So she's
Like, right.
because like all of my friends, their kids are much younger, like littles. I don't have any friends that have kids like that are like really school age, like 7, 8, like that kind of like age range. So I've
Yeah.
never really looked in the kids aisles at any stores because I'm not shopping there.
Yeah. Yeah. You're looking at baby stuff.
Yeah.
And it's not fun
And
in the baby aisle.
no, it's
It's
cute.
fun.
It's not fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's not fun in those aisles. Yeah. The other
So I
aisles are
went a
so fun.
little nuts and I spent 25 pounds at Poundland
Yeah.
buying like all these different art supplies, every single kind of coloring activity book you could think of. I
Yeah.
got these little bracelet making kits. I got like so much stuff.
You want to know what's funny? Is that I have a bracelet making kit that I'd gotten to do with like a whole adult. And they were like, yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm like, what the heck? I want to make
So
bracelets.
this is the thing too, because and one of the coloring books I bought for her, I ended up just getting one for myself too, because I was
Yeah,
like,
it's
this
so
looks
fun. It's so
yeah, but then they
fun.
didn't even end up coming over last night because for whatever reason.
No. Are they going to
So
come at some point?
yeah, they're gonna come at some point. I just
Okay.
think like whatever reason, maybe he got off work too late and then trying to bring her
Oh,
over and
no.
it just became a thing. So then of course today I'm kicking myself because I'm like, dang it, if I had not spent
Yeah,
25
you would have
pounds,
gotten.
I would have been able to get this
Yeah.
back.
That's why you got to
Okay.
say F them kids.
I was telling Sammy when we were walking away from the store, I was like, should I just go return all the stuff since I still
Yeah,
have the receipt? Should I just return?
I would.
No, it's fine because she will come over to our house eventually, and then I'll be in the same situation and I'll have to go back and buy more
True.
stuff. So it's like I'd rather just have it on hand, and then at any point, if we ever have some kids come over that want to have some stuff to do, at least I've got something,
Yeah.
you know. Because
But
I
you know what?
even got.
I will say, like, that's where, and I don't mean to like harp on this a lot, but that's
Mm-hmm.
like that's why like when folks make plans to go to like to visit each other, like you need to be serious and you need to take that seriously because and like make sure you make it work because people really take time to get their house together. They spend money and they do all this. I'm not bashing Sammy's friend. I'm just talking in general
No.
terms because like this happens. Like this, one of like a friend of mine. We're talking about this. Like, um, you get ready for whether it be family members or friends or whatever to come and like they're like well I mean it's something to do but for you you're like making plans and you're doing this you're doing that and you're spending money that you
Yeah.
would otherwise just to be hospitable yeah just
Yeah.
to be
That's right.
hospitable.
That's correct. You're correct.
Y'all know English is hard, man. English is hard.
English is
And
hard.
it's so hard. But yeah, so folks really need to like start considering that a lot more. I feel like when they're making, and it's not even just like coming over to someone's house making plans, but when you make plans with someone in general, like take it seriously because folks literally like me, like I'll clear my calendar. I'll make sure,
This is
that,
my biggest issue because again, if especially if you're coming to my house,
right.
like if we're just making plans to go somewhere and
Yeah.
then it's like,
Yeah.
okay, whatever,
Yeah.
then whatever,
That's
it's
different.
fine.
Yeah.
I can canceling plans and staying home is always so much easier. It's different when someone's like saying like, "Oh, I'm going to come to your house."
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
and again, no tea no shade to him because also with him like he's not the primary like parent. Like so like he only gets her on the weekends and then it's just dependent on when her mom drops her off or like
Yeah.
do you know what I mean like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so like
I
I'm not
totally
no
get
tea
it.
no
Yeah,
shade to
yeah.
him
It's just in
but
general.
in general it is a thing of like okay if you say you want to come over and I'm very like anybody can come over at any point in time like I'm not kind of like I'm very like open door with that. Like if you want
Yeah.
to come over, yeah, you can come over this evening. Like yeah, totally fine. But then I will go the extra mile and make an effort to like make sure that
You have
someone feels
wine.
comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, or even like we were just gonna have pasta for dinner, and I was out getting the stuff, getting the stuff for this craft box that I now have.
Yeah.
All this stuff, which I'm still grateful I got because, like I said, if she comes over another time, then there'll still be stuff for her to do. Like it's
Yeah.
never gonna not be needed.
Yeah.
But I did buy some extra pasta and like sauce because I was like, well, we have enough for what we would normally eat, but
Right.
just in case he comes. And also, I think too, like when it is like, oh, you're bringing a kid, it's like I don't want, I want them to also have. They're used to having snacks at their own house. They're used to having like food and
Yeah.
whatever. And like,
Yeah.
because our house is a grown-up house, we don't
Our
really
house is a grown up
have
house.
those things. you
And
know?
our house, it's not a house for kids. Our house.
Exactly. Or if we want something, we'll just go to the shop and get it.
Right.
So
Right.
like for example, when my friend Candace comes over, like sometimes I'll buy
I don't have a
snacks and
mirror,
then
so
just
I'm using my phone.
you know what,
To,
been there, done that.
because the mirror is in the bathroom. That's where I normally do this
You're good.
routine that takes it really shouldn't take me this long, but you like I barely use product, but I'd be like, okay, blend, 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 blend,
Blood, blood,
blend.
blood.
So that it ends up taking way longer than it should.
It's your no makeup look.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Literally, people are like, oh my god, your skin is so great. I'm like, yeah, because I blended the shit out of it. Okay, my
Yeah, like
bad.
sometimes I'll bring snacks or sometimes she'll bring her own snacks or
Yeah,
like, I'll get a bottle of wine and she'll also bring one. Or worst case scenario, we're hungry.
yeah.
Like it's like, okay, well let's just order something, we'll split the bill or like whatever it is. But when, especially when there's kids, it's like,
It's
you
different.
know, it's just different.
It's
So
just
like if it
different.
was just him coming over by himself, like I probably still would have at
Yeah,
least made sure we had food for him, but
yeah,
I wouldn't have put in maybe as much effort
yeah.
because like
To
whatever.
to make sure
You can
that
you can take care of yourself. Yeah, like
yeah,
you're grown
and
up, you can take care of your own
he's
needs.
coming to hang out with y'all, so
Yeah,
that's the entertainment. He doesn't need to be entertained, you know.
exactly, exactly. So yeah,
Womp
I
womp
was like,
womp.
dang. But it's fine. Like I said, because I have another friend who's got two kids, and they're quite young right now. Um, her youngest is like 2.5, or oldest rather. Her oldest is 2.5, and her
Just had a
youngest,
baby, yeah.
yeah, the one who just had a baby. So like she doesn't bring them over often, but as they get a bit older, like if she wants to start coming over and bring the kids, like
Yeah,
I do want to make sure that we've got some stuff. So I did like at first I was just gonna get colored pencils, and then I was like, well, some kids like the colored pencils are not super vibrant, so I was like, maybe I should
yeah,
get a pack of
crayons.
markers. And then I
But
was like, well, if my other friend comes over with her kids, and then I'm like, well, they're too young for markers and colored pencils. So I was
yeah,
like, well, then I should probably at least get some crayons too,
yeah,
right? So then it's
yeah.
like, I'm just adding more things.
Adding more things to it, girl. Been there, done that. That's why you'll get to where you just don't invite people over. It's like it's like so my policy is like I have a if you're like, hey, I want to come visit you, especially now, like I at least have a sofa so folks can like sit. But at first I didn't. I just got a sofa was it a couple weeks ago. Um but like as long as there's a sofa and you can sit and we can chat or whatever, I'm cool. But you gotta tell me that you want to come over. I'm not really big about inviting people over. I know it's probably like mad weird, but it's like no, you tell me that you want to come over
Oh,
and I'll
I'm
make
the same way. I'm the
okay.
same way.
Okay,
Anna's
I
was
don't feel
saying
bad
this to
then.
me because she was like, uh, when she came over last time, I was like, this was so much fun. I was like, you need to come over more often. And she's like, I keep telling you, if you just invite me, I will come at any time. You just have to invite me. And so I was cracking up because I was like, well, yeah, but also like, I said to her, I said, yeah, but also you can come, literally, you can come over whenever. Just tell me whenever
Yeah,
you want to
just
come.
right.
Invite myself to your house. She's like,
Is
you
that a rude
have to
thing? Is
invite
that I wonder we should probably this should be like poll worthy.
this should be a poll. I think it's a thing that, like other people think. I don't think this way, but I do think other people think if I just say, "Hey, I want to come over," or like, "Hey, can I come over this weekend?" I think other people think that that's rude, as in like you're just
Really?
inviting yourself over to someone's house. Yeah, I don't think that way. I think very
No.
much like if you want to see me and you're like, hey, I
Right.
want to come over this weekend. What are you doing? Especially if it's like a close friend. If it's like some random that's like, hey, I'm coming to your house. I might be a
Well,
little
you're
like,
not going to be
hold on.
inviting no randoms, right? Like only people like if we cool, you're like, hey, I want to hang out. Because then there's also that thought, like, okay, folks are usually doing things with their lives. You're just going about your business, and like if I want to come over, I'll say, hey, I'd like to come over. Are you going to be free? Let's hang out. Like I'll say that, but sometimes folks are busy, so like I'm like, okay, whatever. You let me know when you want to hang out. Like, so I don't know. Is that a sad thing? Now I'm wondering, like,
Hey, I don't know.
are we
Because
rude? Am I the problem?
it's like roles reversed, like with her,
Sorry.
right?
Yeah, sorry,
It's not
y'all.
like I will invite myself to her house, like in that way, like, hey, I want to come over. But I will be like, hey, I haven't seen you, let's hang out.
Yeah,
And then if she's like, "Oh, I don't really know, like, what do you want to do?" and I'll be like, "Why don't I just come over and we can just like eat snacks and like have girl chat?" Or I'll say it like in that way, like, we don't have to do anything. Why don't I just come over, or why don't you just come over to like? Do you know what I mean? I'll just say it like that. But is that me inviting
100%.
myself? I don't know.
Well, no, I feel like it's just you saying I miss my friend. I want to like hang out, and I'm also the kind of person that if I say, hey, I want to hang out, or like I want to come by, like sometimes, especially like being in the city, sometimes like depending on like your living situation, you don't want people at your
Yeah,
house, right? And so I'm also sensitive to that.
right.
But that's where I don't know. I don't know. This whole let's hang out thing is kind of I don't know. I just never.
Is it
So
throwing
then
you for
then you
a loop?
so then you end up like meeting outside most often, right?
More
Like
often.
more
I feel
often.
like I would rather, like, don't get me wrong, I enjoy going out and having a good time going out. but I almost would rather to just like have people at my house or like just be at a house.
Yeah,
And
agreed.
then like, then there's like no time limit. You can just like be whatever, be relaxed. You don't have to like leave when you leave whenever they say like, hey, it's time for you to get out of my house now.
Agreed.
And then it's like, okay, cool. Or vice versa. When people have come over here, I'm like, hey, y'all, this has been really fun, but I'm gonna need you to get up out of my house now. I'm ready to go to bed. Like,
How do people, sorry, real quick sidebar, how do people do their makeup like this? I don't understand that. Like,
How do
the
you?
way I put on my eyeliner, I
I do
literally
all
go
the
to the
time.
bathroom and I just I stick my face
You
in
gotta
the
be
mirror.
this close.
I can't do this. This is so hard. My
Yeah, I've had to
jacked
do it a
up.
few times on the train on my like on my mirror camera because I can't. Yeah,
It's so
can't do
hard.
it.
Anyways, sorry. But yeah, to your point, like, yeah, you can like chill out. You can do just so much more things if you're just at someone's house. Than when
It's
you
also
go
like
out.
if you have to use the bathroom, like it's like I'm just gonna go use the bathroom.
Use the right. You don't have to excuse yourself from the toilet or find a
No.
place to go use the bathroom. Like,
Or like if you like,
oh
here
no.
especially, did you get some stuff on your shirt?
But it's red. Someone hasn't been there.
I can't see anything
You
from where
can't.
I'm
It's like
at.
in
So
my. It's like in here, but I haven't used anything red. Well, I guess maybe the orange. Anyways, but sorry, using the bathroom.
yeah, or like when you go like here, if you go to a pub, especially if it's like Friday or like evening time kind of thing, and you're like, oh yeah, let's just meet up at a pub and like have a
Yeah,
drink type of thing.
yeah.
It's like that thing of like, oh, we gotta find a table. I'm like, okay, all the tables are taken. Where are we gonna sit? We just want to
It's
sit down and have a drink. You
yeah,
know, So sometimes it's like, I don't have to do that if I just come to your house. And
right.
then we can also be as drunk as we want to be. And we don't have to worry about, I ain't got to worry about anybody bothering me.
That
I don't
part.
got to worry about, even if I have to worry about getting home, it's like I could
Right,
just get an Uber from your house to
right,
my house. Like,
right.
I don't
It's
have to be in the
completely different.
streets.
Right in the streets. Hold on, I forgot. Did I? I forgot something. Hold on, I'll be right back.
So, this is now my show. I'm the host.
I'm back.
Dang. I was trying out my hosting skills for about
Are you
32
okay? Wait.
minutes.
Go ahead.
Hey guys, welcome back to Sips and Conversations with your host, Elana Goodman. And today,
That is hilarious.
I just have to say that if this episode does feel a little bit unhinged, it also could be the simple fact that Nancy and I haven't spoken to each other really
Yeah,
in like 2 weeks.
it's crazy.
So I kind of like I didn't really come like prepared for this episode because I
Yeah,
was like
no.
I haven't spoken to you. That I
Yeah,
feel
we're
like
just chatting.
just
We're just chatting. What's funny is like we're on the same vibe.
truly,
We're just
it's
on the same
Saturday.
vibe.
That's
It's
why.
Saturday. Yeah, it's Saturday. Um, yeah, so how are all the things? I mean, I really just wanted let's just catch up. And like to be honest, so like earlier, I'll just to get in my brain a little bit. I'm like
Yeah,
cleaning the bathroom. I'm like, okay, I gotta like hurry up, take a shower, get all put together, and but I'm like, no, we just be having sips and chats. And to be honest, I feel like a lot of like this like podcasting world
yeah,
or whatever you want to call it has become so like
curated.
professional.
Yeah,
And it's like, what happens to the podcast when you're just sitting and chatting with your homies?
that's what I'm saying. And I
You know?
think I think that it makes it also for me because I feel like you've always been pretty good at just like talking and like doing the thing. But for me, it's taken me what are we on our like 8th episode or something? It's
Yeah.
taken me like a few episodes
Yeah.
to
You done
like
got
chill out.
loose. Get loose. Hey, get loose. If we would insert episode 1, Elana Goodman.
It's like it's like so put together. I think I wear these glasses actually. And I was like
Your hair was perfect.
thank you so much for having me. You know, I was cosplaying.
It was so
As
great.
someone
Yeah.
who's got their life
Yeah.
together.
It was so great. And then like you're so intelligent, right? So like you naturally just use these words that I feel like, girl.
And you give me that face when you're like, but I'm like, don't do that. Don't do that to me. Especially because it throws me, because I'll be on a roll, and then you give me that face, and then I'm like, damn it, I was lost.
I have
It's gone.
learned so much. So many words. So many words. I'd be like, what? I thought, you think like I'm not and I don't ever want to be the smartest person in the room because then you stop learning, right? But god damn, some of these words. I said, I went to graduate school. I did have masters. I am a master of business. And we never studied these words. I know 1 plus 1 is 2, but I don't know what was it? Neurodivergence. I was like, wait a minute, what? I gotta take my life. So, but
Is here to expand your vocabulary.
yeah, which is like much appreciated. But yeah, so like as I was getting all ready, like I'm like almost stressing out because I wanted to. My room got not messy, but like a little messy. You've seen
Yeah,
like my pictures and stuff of like my room. Like I have a white room, so it can't
yeah.
get too
Any
far off.
amount of other things, it just looks
it
crazy.
just it just looks insane. And so like I traveled, and since I got back home I hadn't like really, I unpacked, but I hadn't like put every, like my neck pillow was still hanging around, like those kind of things. I needed to clean my
Yeah.
bathroom.
Your house sounds like my house, right?
Yeah, so just got to put things back together. So I did that this morning, and then I was like, actually I laid in the bed for like 3 hours when we were texting earlier.
Girl.
I was in the bed, and then I finally was like, oh, I guess let me get up and clean. And then I was like, oh crap, I don't have enough time to get ready before. So I'm like, let me just take a quick shower, and Alana just gonna get me putting myself
Look,
together. So
take you how you are. It's really,
just
it's
take me. Oh wait, this should be like a thing. As I am. Is that a song? You know what I mean? Just take me. How does it go?
What's the song? Wait, I'm having two songs.
Okay, what song's in your head? What's the song?
You're singing.
Okay.
Song from Rent, the musical.
Okay.
She's like, take me for what I am.
That's better. That one's actually better. That's way more fitted. Yes. The
Yeah, and then she's like, and
I
if
should
you
hold it like
give
this.
a damn, then take me. That's what she says.
Yes,
I'm
and
like,
if you give a
yeah.
damn, then take me the freaking end. Yes. So,
I love it.
oh, okay. What was I gonna ask? So we
It's
were,
probably so many things.
first of all, are you comfortable about talking about like what you're doing, like your tour and stuff, or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Yeah, it's going well. I will say it's going well. It's just it's
Well,
exhausting.
no one even knows like what tour. So
Yeah, no, let me explain. Sorry, I keep forgetting. I'm not just talking to you.
yeah. Yeah, these are our real chats.
Real chats. So, basically, what I'm doing for the company that I work for, we are going around to different schools to give some presentations to primarily like age groups 10 to 14 in schools. So that would either be like year 6, year 7, sometimes year 8s in there. But essentially, we're giving presentations on informing them about like what county lines are, and talking to them about knife crime and
Oh
certain
wow.
things of that nature. So like county lines specifically refers to the type of criminal exploitation where criminals, as in like gangs, will befriend children online or offline,
Yeah.
and they will exploit them. So like whether that means having them run drugs for them, whether that means it also specifically refers to like the cell phone lines that they use to like transport these drugs.
Oh wow.
So that's what county lines is specifically. And so we're basically going in, we're giving a presentation, we're teaching them what county lines are, we're teaching them about like grooming and how to look out for like signs of grooming, what grooming is. we're talking about like tricks of the gangs and like how
Oh
to
wow. You know what?
spot.
I don't know why I thought that you were girl, please forgive me. I swear
That's
I
okay.
listen. I swear I pay attention. Maybe I mix things in my head, but I don't know. I thought it
You
was a
might be
dance.
thinking because there's a second portion of what I'm doing that you might be mixing. So
Okay,
that's like, so we go into the school, we start with the presentation, we give them the presentation. And the reason why we're discussing these topics specifically is because the production that the company that I work for, they're a physical
okay,
theater company. So the production
okay.
that they're running is basically the story that they're telling is a story of a young person who gets mixed up in county lines and like whatever, right?
Oh,
And like discusses all of these sort of topics of like knife crime and etc. etc. right?
got you. Okay,
Within the production there is like rap, there's parkour, there's trials bikes, there's dance, there's you know
got you. Okay, so
there's
it was
all
like
physical theater, all of this stuff. So
okay,
basically we start with the presentation, and
yeah,
it's essentially an opportunity to educate kids to spot the signs of like whether or not this is happening to them or to
I
somebody
love
they
that.
know,
Yeah,
and then encouraging them to sort of like put their energy towards something creative or put their energy towards like something that they're passionate about. And so then in conjunction with that, we will give them workshops on like there'll be a rap workshop, there'll be a physical theater workshop, and we
like pick
teach
it, pick
them.
it.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
what?
rapper, so the
Nice.
person who does the presentation with me is the
Yeah.
rapper from the show. And so within
Okay.
the presentation, he performs some of the raps from the show for the kids. And then he will do like a workshop where they get to write their own raps and like
Oh wow.
whatever. It's really
Oh,
cool.
that's super dope.
Yeah, and then so the workshop that I teach specifically with one other colleague is the physical theater one, which is not just dance. It's more
Yeah.
because physical theater is essentially theater but without using your voice, like you're using your body to tell the story. So it's
Yeah.
movement based.
Yeah.
So we play some games with them. We talk to them about how to create certain images with physical theater. We teach them how to like build stories with physical theater. And then we all kind of like tie it back to, you know, the the main themes of the production. So it's like a kind of like holistic thing that we're giving them because we don't want to just
That,
go in there and be like, here's all this really scary stuff that you should be scared about and like whatever. We want to remind them like, yes, this stuff is scary, but we're not telling you because we want you to be scared. We're telling you so that you can be aware and you can
yeah.
better protect yourself, because especially so much of this like grooming happens in online spaces.
Yeah.
It happens in like IRL, but it does more so often happen online
Yeah.
because it's just the internet is the wild west. You know what I mean? Like there's
Yeah. No
so much
controls.
happening, and it's so hard. And then the minute you shut one page down, another one, another
Yeah.
10
Pops
pop
up.
up. So it's also just been good for me to get educated myself on kind of like these issues and like what's going on, and like to even be able to spot the signs for myself as like just even for safeguarding, and like as I work with kids to be able to spot the signs for myself of like, okay, these are things that I should be looking for, etc etc. So that's like a very long-winded explanation of like what it is, but the tour itself has been kind of exhausting because it is this thing of like we go in every day. I have to go in and like give this presentation, and within the presentation we share quite a few like real stories of children and young people who have lost their lives due to knife crime or
Oh
county
wow.
crime, both.
Yeah.
We talk to them like very seriously about like grooming, what that looks like, what it can be. Do you know what I mean? Like knife crime, the dangers of it, what happens to children. Like we do talk quite candidly in a way that's, I think age appropriate, but like it is a serious topic and a mature topic.
Yeah.
I'm
It's a
thinking
very
about
yeah.
I'm talking to kids that are around the same age as Tristan, right? So like, they're on the internet, they see things,
Yep.
they hear certain language, they hear certain
Yep.
words, but it is a
Yep.
thing of like I have to say what it is, you
Yep.
know?
Yep. You do. Yep.
Um, and so it can be quite heavy just for me as a person because it's like being reminded every day. And also, I want to be quite present with the presentation because when I speak about these kids who have lost their lives, like I don't want
Yeah.
to just read I don't want to read it like it's another news
Right.
headline. I don't want to
Right.
present it like it's another. I want to present it with like the
The compassion and
earnestness
yeah.
of like, and so when it's a presentation you're giving over and over and over again, you do kind of have to like
Yeah.
put yourself in a headspace where you can deliver that like earnestly.
Yeah.
And so that can be exhausting. But then also right after that, then we go into like teaching, you know, essentially like 12 year olds for hours and hours and hours and
Yeah.
hours.
So how
And
long is a
that
day? I mean, that sounds like is it a full day?
it's a full day. So like we arrive to the schools usually around like 8 a.m. We set up everything, we do the presentation, and then we usually do 3 or 4 workshops, like back to back to back, depending on the size of the school. And in each workshop, there will be probably anywhere from 10 to like 20 kids that were doing the work. And then, of course, they're only like 50-minute workshops, but it is like,
For each. Wow.
if,
Which is a very
but
short
it's like,
time.
it's short and it's like, we have to get through what we have to get through. You're also like, they're so excited, they want to do it. And so each new group that comes in hasn't done it yet. So like, even though I've taught it 3 times and you guys are my
Oh
last
wait, so
group,
how many in a day? How many groups?
3 to 4
Oh
groups.
wow.
Yeah. It's basically till the end of their school day is what it is.
Wow.
Um, so essentially think of like being
So
at
it's a
school
certain
all day with them.
period. Yeah, so it's a
Yeah.
certain
Yeah,
period, I
that's what
guess,
it
that you're
is. Yeah.
going
Exactly.
in
So they'll
with.
be off their schedule or off their timetable. So instead of going to a lesson that period, they would come do the workshop
Got
type
you.
thing.
That sounds so wow. So like how are you feeling? Like
I'm exhausted. I'm tired
yeah,
because I do have to be, you have to be on just when you're teaching kids in general.
yeah,
You can't, it's really difficult to show up like how you're actually feeling that day and just like give it the best of what you got because they don't know what you're going through. They don't know how
yeah,
you're feeling. Like they don't, you know what I mean? So like they're coming in with all this energy and the expectation is that you're going to be just as fresh with the first group as you are with the last group,
yeah,
and like put in the same energy and have the same excitement for these, exercises that you've taught, and not
a
only am
million
I doing it
times.
in that school a million times, but I'm also doing it every day of the tour. So
Right.
like I've just taught it in general.
Yeah.
Every week it's like, whatever, like 12 times in a week that I'm teaching workshops, right?
Wow.
And then in addition to that, just for me, because I'm having to travel to Oxfordshire from London, it is like I'm traveling all the way there from London the day before. Then we'll do the workshop. Then we've got someplace that we're staying that night. But then depending on where we are in Oxfordshire, we might have to stay someplace else to be closer to the next school. So it's not even like we stay in the same place in the
Wow.
entire time that we're there. So we might have to move, which makes it easier in the mornings for us to like get up and get to the school. We try to move to a new like hotel or accommodation that's within 5-10 minutes of where the school is. So
Yeah.
if the school we were staying at before is like 30 minutes away, we're going to move a little bit closer so that in the morning we don't have to get up as much or as early rather. um so it's just, in general, it's just exhausting because you're
Yeah.
constantly on the move and you're constantly like doing stuff.
Yeah.
And then in addition to that, we've been in some schools we've been in some schools that are sort of like, I would say they're straightforward in the sense of like they don't really know what these issues are exactly, or they might have heard of some of them, but they're not really 100% sure. And so they are kind of like green in that way of like they didn't really know what this thing is. And so like
Like the
for the workshop,
students or like
yeah, like
everyone?
the students, they don't really know exactly what the issues are. They maybe have heard of them somewhere but don't really fully understand. And so in terms of like running our program there, it's straightforward, like we go in, we do the thing, you know, it works because of, whatever, but also like just like people, kids, and like schools and types of schools are all incredibly unique. So
Yeah.
every time we go in, it's not like when you give a presentation at your job and you
Yeah.
just go to a different company and give the same presentation where it's kind of like it can become a bit of a routine at that point.
Yeah.
Every
Yep.
school is going to be different, and the kids and the student population is going to be different.
Yeah.
Um, so that can mean that like there's challenges that pop up every single day that maybe we haven't dealt with before, and
Yeah.
especially because everybody aside from myself and one other person have done the school's tour like last year, and they're just coming back to do it again. Like I feel like even though it's challenging for them as well, sometimes they have just done it more often, so there's a bit more of like a um, toolbox to pull information
The
from.
pull firm. Sorry, I
Yeah,
gotta put this clip
whereas
there for a
that's
second.
okay. Versus me, we've only done it like what, like 2 weeks now. We've got three
Yeah.
more weeks of touring to do. And so I feel like that first week especially, like I was still just trying to get a handle on like what the presentation is. Like
Yeah.
like like
Yeah.
really just make sure that I fully understand what I'm doing instead
Yeah.
of having the added like adapting and kind of being in the moment. It
It's a
takes a lot of
lot.
energy. It just takes a
Yeah.
lot of energy. So
Yeah.
like even though I'm done at like 5 o'clock, and then I come back to wherever we're staying or the hotel or whatever it is, and then I've got other work that I have to do. I've got
Yeah.
other stuff, that I got emails I need to respond to. I've got stuff that I kind of need to keep track of,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So
That's a
then
lot.
it's just exhausting. It's just
Yeah.
exhausting, and like I'm not. I don't necessarily feel like, oh, I don't want to do it, or like I wouldn't have done it, because what I will say is that for me, you know, I work primarily virtually for this company. Like you know, the position itself is virtual. And so I've gotten quite a few opportunities to be in person with them, but regularly, like everything we do is virtual. And the only team members that I really interact with are sort of like the main core team that like run the company. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't get that much opportunity to interact with, the performers or like other, the other instructors or like whatever. Like I just don't get even though I know their names and I know of them, I like it. It does. I don't know. It made me think a little bit about just virtual work in
Oh,
general.
yeah. Speak on it, please.
You know what I
Yes.
mean? Of like, because obviously, like you and I have worked virtually for years now,
Yeah.
and we're fine, and everything's fine. But it's been on like a one-on-one capacity,
Yeah.
and so there is a thing of like when you're working, and I don't know if it's because it's performing arts or whatever, but like when you're
Mm-hmm.
working in a company where there is like a lot of moving parts and a lot of different departments and a lot of different people,
Yes.
like
I'm getting
you do
excited.
kind of need to be
Come on.
IRL, like to some degree. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back to having to go to work every day, right?
100%.
Like,
Right.
I like the option to work virtual, but
Yeah.
something that I've noticed is the more opportunities that I get to meet just other people in the company or like meet, yeah, I don't know what, you just keep trying and it just keeps failing.
It's failing me so bad.
It's worse and worse as we
Why?
go. Worse and worse. It just keeps getting longer and longer.
Hair struggles. Okay. Fine
The
hair
other side
struggles.
keeps getting shorter and
Okay,
shorter.
sure. I've changed out the curl. Okay, let's move the hair straight. My bad. But yes, yes, this virtual. I was just talking about this literally this morning. Just having this conversation because, I um do several things, but my 9 to 5 is in manufacturing.
Yeah.
So being a leader in that space has a lot of challenges when you start speaking when how do you manufacture when people are remote? And so then folks are like, well, it's support staff. No, 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 no. If this is a manufacturing facility, you've got to how do you know what's hot? How do you know what's pressing? What's the vibe of the week, right? Like what's the vibe check? You can't put your pulse on it because you're checking in whenever the first meeting starts. right? And then you're doing things meeting by meeting. You're not you don't even know what it feels like at the site, and
Yeah.
you lose a lot of that like team interactiveness, right? Which is forced by being in an office environment at some points. And to your point, like you and I, like yeah, we've worked together for a long time. We've built a rapport professionally, but then
That's
we've also
also
built a
like
friendship too.
it's just one to one though. Like it's
Yeah,
just
and just
you and
one to
it's
one.
just
Yeah,
me.
that's
Like we
it.
don't have a whole team, like
Right.
whatever. We don't have other
Right.
people to manage. It's
Multiple
literally just us.
personalities. It's just
Right.
right. And
So
our
we can
multiple
manage us,
personalities.
which
Manage
are
us
hard
and
enough for the two of us to manage.
okay. Shit. Like
Yeah, so it and especially with marketing too, because
yeah.
like, you know, I have so many different ideas of like what we can do with marketing and like whatever. And then people were coming to me at the beginning and saying like, well, that doesn't really work, or like we've tried that in the past, it just doesn't really work. And I remember feeling like, well, why? Like I don't understand
Yeah.
why doesn't it work? Like, you know, people must just not really be trying or whatever. But then, like for example, you know, I've been I have had put the goal of like since I'm there at the tour, I want to try to capture as much behind the scenes and like content as I can
Yeah.
so that we have it to use
Yeah.
later, because
Yeah.
you know throughout the year we end up running out of so much content because people just aren't taking enough, right?
Yep.
And I remember bringing up like way back when I first started about like, well, if other people are taking videos, like why can they not just send you the videos, or why can they
Yeah.
not just like send you the stuff
Yeah.
that they're taking? Like I don't get it, right? But then in being there, I have had to ask probably 3 or 4 times for people to send me the videos
Yeah.
that they've taken. And I'm like, I don't understand why this is so hard. Can you not just send me the videos that you took? Like, what? Like, why do I need to ask you 4 or 5 times? And it's just because, you know, at least this is
It's
what
so
I think.
busy.
I think because we're so busy,
So busy.
don't even have time when I'm on the ground doing it to
Yeah.
stop and remember to like pull out and take a quick 10
Yeah.
second video
Exactly.
or whatever, because I'm just so focused on
You're
like trying
zoned
to do
in.
the thing and
Yep.
trying to do whatever, you know. But then it's also like if you don't get it right then and there, everybody goes home or goes away because they
Yep.
need to rest and like
Yep.
kind of like have a brain break so they can come back fresh again. And so people are don't want to
You don't
like
want to deal with
think
it.
about they don't want to think about others, which I totally get, because
Yeah.
you know, even I need the brain break of like, in order for me to not burn out, I do need to have like a day where I can just like not have to think about. I think that's normal. That's why you don't work 7 days a week, so that you
Yep.
can have a brain break and be able to come back fresher and remotivated and all of the things. So, but even just with understanding kind of like having a more holistic understanding of what we are doing in these schools by being there and
Yeah.
actually seeing it
Yeah.
and like firsthand, like that's why I applied for the job in the
Yeah.
first place.
Yeah.
You know? But I think to my like way back ago point of like being in person, there is a thing of like in order to form that like personal
Connection.
connection to
Yeah.
the work that you're
Mm-hmm.
doing,
Yep.
you do kind of have to be on the ground
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah.
And I think like again, not that I want to go completely back to
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
having to be in person for work.
Yeah.
I think
Agreed.
virtual work is incredible and has allowed so much.
Yes.
It's allowed us
Yes.
to be able to work together. If virtual work
Yes.
wasn't a thing, we wouldn't work together.
Yes. Yeah. Totally.
But yeah, I do think when it comes to, you know, specific types of work and specific types of industries that work completely virtual, I think most of the time, if you've got a company where you've got a lot of employees underneath you, you got a lot of stuff going on, unless what you're doing really can be on your own kind of straightforward data entry type
Yes.
work,
Yes. Yes.
you know, you do have to, because like even to your point in manufacturing, if you never were like in the building and even just seeing how they do things or seeing what the workflow is or just seeing how everybody interacts or whatever, you wouldn't know how to lead. You wouldn't know how to lead
Mm-mm.
those people. And you'd be
Mm-mm.
trying to implement things that just wouldn't work because you don't understand
Mm-hmm.
the culture of it. You're not
Exactly.
in the
Right.
warehouse.
Right. Right. And the importance of the thing, right? And so like one thing that we done, we went to so when I worked in healthcare manufacturing, and that's when I really grabbed the concept of you're doing like you're doing something that's greater than you, right? Like a lot of times we look at like a job as a job. It's a job, it pays my bills, da da da.
Yeah. Means
And
to an ends.
it's just a
Yeah.
means to an ends. But like when you can put your like when you can connect with the bigger purpose of why does this thing exist, I
Yeah.
think it amplifies like your reason for being there and your desire to be there, your desire to show up, right? Because you, to your point, you build that more personal connection.
Yeah.
However, well, not however. So when I worked in healthcare manufacturing, like we had a sign that said "Heroes work here" out front,
Yeah.
and because we were making medical devices, right, like that are literally
Yeah.
life saving, so life sustainable devices, for people that were on hemodialysis or on
Right.
dialysis. It was like a, if you go to a hospital and you're on dialysis at the hospital, we made those types of filters that, so like you could connect. Now moving into the window and door and like more construction, right? Like into that kind of
Yeah.
manufacturing space, it can get a little bit harder to connect. So we went to a as I've been bringing on team, one thing that I had said was like, this is someone's home that you get the chance to impact, right? Like
Yeah.
you're shielding, yeah, it's a window, but like, what does the window do? It protects you from the elements, right? It
Yeah.
protects you from like, not just like nature, but also from like animals that exist in nature, from burglars, right? They have to like break into your home in order to get
Yeah.
certain things. Like a window and a door is much more than just a window and a door. Like it
Yeah.
protects a family. And so like being at the retailer, they were saying the same thing. Like anytime that we have to back order, anytime that we're late on a promise, that's a family that we're letting down. And they're the ones talking to that family member.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
And so like us at the facility, and that's one thing that I was saying was like, how do we connect our retailer, that you connect that retail experience to the manufacturing experience so that, yeah, it's important for them to understand what we can or cannot do, but we as a manufacturing facility, right, need to understand what your work is actually doing, what every box, every door handle, every lock, every, like the precision in which you do this is going to allow for family to feel safety for 25 years and more. That's how long our warranties are.
Yeah.
But and so
Yeah.
just it just connects you to that work. And then like even like the financial industry. So when I started doing the in-person
Insurance and stuff. Yeah.
talks, yeah,
Yeah.
of like how do you protect yourself financially? The virtual, it's virtual. When you are in person and you're looking someone in the eyeball about, this is how money works, and this is how your 401k works, and this is how your insurance at work, if you stop working today, do you have income, and income stops coming in, you no longer, like, how's your insurance bill going to be paid, right? Your
Yeah.
work doesn't have anything to take, they can't deduct anymore. So now you
Right.
go on now you have to pay for that out of pocket full time. Do you have $1,000, $500, however much to pay for that, right? And so if you don't have money to pay for your medical bills, what are you falling back on? To look someone in the eye
And have to explain that to them.
and for them to like, and they literally were like, what the heck, I'm fucked. Like
Yeah.
I
And
would
it
see
makes it
that, and yeah,
real.
it makes it so real. And so which is what really caused me to shift more into just that personal development, and like let's get people in the mindset of, because folks are like, oh, I can't afford insurance because I'm not making enough. But then it's really the money mindset that was missed. Like, but you can't get that from a computer screen. In a computer screen, you're like, well, why
No.
aren't people signing
No.
up for my policy? Why aren't people doing? No, you got to touch them. You got to see
Or
them. You got to hear them.
signing up for a course. I mean, like,
Yeah.
if you're signing up for I can't tell you how many virtual courses. I don't know. And maybe it is a thing of like, maybe we're speaking from a certain generation where like our learning was,
Yeah.
our our learning was in real life.
Yeah.
That now, even though we've adjusted to being virtual and like we prefer it in a lot of ways, there is a part of our like brain synapses that like need that in-person thing. But even
Yeah.
it goes to me, it goes even deeper than that because it's like I just think about in general. I mean, again, don't get me wrong. I'm attached to my phone. I'm attached to my devices. I'm attached to the internet, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to get rid of the internet. But, you know, working, like specifically working with the company that I'm working with and dealing with social justice issues and talking about social justice issues. And we want to talk, if we even want to talk about the political climate and trying to like unify under a specific political climate, you know what I'm saying? There is a thing of like, I can read the headline or I can see the story on my phone and just scroll right past it and it's as if it didn't happen, right?
Yep.
When
Yep.
in
Yep.
reality, there is a real human living
Yes.
person who is not living anymore. There's
Okay.
a real
Real
human,
life.
real life person that's life has been completely rocked to shambles because of a single decision that you decided to make.
Yep.
And people and so and I think there does need to be some like level of like coming back to human connection and coming back
Yes.
to like
Yes.
being in spaces with each other
Yes.
because
Yes.
I just don't think there is a way that we can like simulate and like
Mm-mm.
unify
Mm-mm.
using technology and to
Mm-mm.
get all on the same page.
Mm-mm.
I just don't think there
It's
is.
not
I think
possible. It's not
no.
possible. It was hard enough to connect before going digital,
Yeah.
right? It's
Yeah.
hard enough. And then you go digital and you think it's going to be easier to connect. You know what I'm saying? And so we've lost that more and more, and the people that have capitalized on the fact that the sense of community has been lost, the sense of connectivity has been lost, that's who's now reigning, right?
Yeah.
That's why like these tech oligarchs all over the world are like they found a way to say take wait, if we have technology, yeah, it's unifying in the sense where before you couldn't see certain
You get
issues.
access to more information, right?
Right.
Like it's like the information intake, but in terms
Yeah.
of like the power to do something or like whatever, it's
Right.
really just lost. It's
It's
just
so
lost.
lost. And then like people and then with technology you end up forming your own bubble, right? Like if we're even keeping it as simple as social media, you
Yeah.
form your algorithm is your own world. It's your own
So you're
reality.
only hearing it's an echo chamber. You're
It's an
only
echo
hearing your own
chamber.
thoughts and opinions being
Right.
swirled around. Yeah.
Swirled around. So I went to Mexico for work, and we were the first customers to visit either facility that we went to in at least 5 years.
Mm.
Okay. So which is huge. It's wild. And
Yeah.
as we flew into El Paso and then stayed there overnight, had dinner in this beautiful restaurant with
Mm-hmm.
partners that are living right across the border,
Mm.
right? And but they treated us so well. I mean, we ate a freaking 80-course meal. It was so delicious in this beautiful room. It was so good. And in this beautiful room, and what do you want to drink? Have whatever. Like just so
Yeah.
welcoming, which is
Right.
not the image that you see on television, right?
No.
That's not
Right.
what on TV people want you to believe. And so there alone, it was like, oh my gosh, okay, like. And then the next day, we actually went into the town, so we drove across the border, and yeah, you drive in, it looks like a third world country, but
Mm-hmm.
the people are so kind. They like the folks at the plants were so from the leadership all the way to probably someone pushing a broom. So
Mm-hmm.
proud of the work that they were doing. You could stop and ask them any questions about, hey, what do you do there? They would explain their entire work to you with pride and with
Yeah.
enthusiasm, and they were so happy. And a big thing for me is I look at people's shoes because, like,
Mm.
one thing that I know is like everybody wore uniforms, right? Why do you wear uniforms? So that it strips you of those like the classism, right? So
Yeah.
everyone's here, we're all wearing the same thing. But then you can look at folks' shoes, and all their shoes were nice, they were clean, they were. I mean, these folks are fully taken care of from head to toe, And overall, it was like, wow, this was not the image that on in general was
That
expected,
you
right?
were
Because that's
expecting. Yeah.
not what being virtual has shown us. And kind of to your point, to full circle that, it's like if we had not traveled to see,
You would have
you
had
would
an
not you
expectation
that
of what
that
it
that
was.
thought,
Yeah.
yeah, the thought process, it and so when there's, there's people that are, to your, like, really struggling, here in the States right now, we're dealing with, like, it's just crazy, but they
Yeah.
removed this Black Lives Matter strip,
I know. I heard. Yeah.
and folks are like, why is it a big deal? Why
Because
is it
those are
even?
actual people who lost their lives. It would be the same thing if you decided to tear down a World War II memorial space. Like, those names, those people, what that represents are people who have lost their lives
Yes.
to, like, heinous acts of violence, right? Whether it was government ordered or police violence or whatever it is, whether it was at war or whatever. Okay, those are people, those are real, that those names and those people and what that represents is really real to somebody who knows somebody
Yep.
who, who has lost their life,
Yep.
or
Yep.
it's just like, I don't know. I don't know how else. I just think about as well, like, even in like, even in my own community here, of like, you know the community that I live in at one point was really overrun with some of these issues that I'm talking in these schools about. And I even see some of the remnants of it still very much here. Right. And I think about, like, you don't realize this stuff is happening on your front door because every time you walk out your front door, you're doing this.
Yeah. All the time.
Do you know what I mean?
Scroll,
And you
scroll,
so
scroll.
you don't know what's happening on your front door, but
Yeah.
you wanna be a, keyboard warrior and comment on what's happening on somebody
Not a
else's front door.
keyboard warrior.
Do you know what I'm saying? It's just like, it enrages me and it
Yeah.
pisses me off, and it just makes me feel like I don't, you know, obviously I'm going to make every effort to be the kind of person that shows up
Yeah.
and shows up with without being disassociated, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's a thing of, like, showing up present
Yeah.
in your body. And, I hope that my, sort of intention to show up present will inspire other people to show up and be present in their own bodies, be present with what they're doing. But it just feels a bit hopeless, to be honest. It just
Yeah.
feels a bit hopeless. And I really think, to really, really bring it around full circle, I really think that this is at the core of, like, why we even do what we're trying to do, with Shake Trendy, and was trying to, like, build this online community of, like, that
We not
uplifts,
trying, girl. We doing it. Period.
like, just like wanting to build the uh the world that we see,
Yes.
like
Yes.
uplift the good in the world that we see
Yes.
and that we want to be a part of.
Yes.
And it doesn't mean that
Yes.
the bad parts don't happen too.
Yeah. Yeah.
If we're only focusing on the bad parts all the time,
Yep.
it does make you want to dissociate. It does
Yeah.
want to make you check out and go back
Yeah.
to your screen. And I think,
Yeah.
like, you have to find the things and the reasons that make you check back in.